This is the Scarlet Vault. Stored away here in the rust-red rooms are items too powerful, too dangerous to exist. You may consider me the custodian and protector of this abominable museum of terrors. Every item stored here is drenched in horror. Every item a weapon in the wrong hands. And every item has a story. Perhaps you would like to hear one.
Take a close look at this box of figurines. They look like toys, don't they? Well, I suppose they are playthings of a kind. They're a bunch of tiny demons. Look at how much effort has gone into carving them. Each one is uniquely ugly with slightly different features, reflecting the variety of unholy creatures that swim eternally through the forbidden realms. These figures were created by a satanic cult in London in the 1980s, and handed out to unsuspected members of the public as a way of proliferating some evil ideology. We've determined that most of these figures are just pieces of pseudo-religious tat, but not all of them were harmless. Another night of angry screaming. Screaming beyond hoarseness, beyond what the human voice could possibly produce. The neighbours banged the walls, cats out in the street wailed in sympathy, and Mrs. Angela O'Neill went even further out of her mind. At 5 a.m. she sat in the kitchen, lit cigarette balanced on the ashtray unsmoked, and cried. Then she stopped herself. However much she was going through, she understood. Poor Jenny was suffering even more. Another loud scream echoed from the bedroom upstairs, as if to confirm the truth in her realization. Not for the first time, Mrs. O'Neill wondered if a pillow placed over Jenny's head might solve all their problems. No, she decided. She had to hold on to her hope that things would get better, that the demon inside her daughter would go away. The doorbell chimed at 9 a.m. exactly, and Mrs. O'Neill ran downstairs, 2 steps at a time, to answer the front door. Oh, thank goodness you've... She found herself momentarily startled by the appearance of their visitor. Of course, it was well known that the new arrival was blind, but Mrs. O'Neill was not prepared for the gaping eye sockets. The man looked like a haunted skeleton, wearing a tweed blazer.
Algernon Gervais, at your service, madam. May I take it you're happy for Cerberus here to accompany me?
Mrs. O'Neill looked down at the wolf-like guide dog.
Yes, please come inside. Dogs are always welcome in this house.
And exorcists? What about them?
He strode in and let her close the door behind him.
I'll save you the trouble of finding a polite way to ask the question on your mind. I knew to call you madam, because I could smell your perfume. You must be the lady of the manor, correct?
She nodded before realizing how pointless that was when communicating with someone who couldn't see. She'd only pick up on the sarcasm in his comment later. Their council house was hardly a manor.
Yes, Mr. Gervais. I'm Mrs. O'Neill, Jenny's mother. Thank you for agreeing to help us.
Never said anything about helping, did we, Cerberus?
He patted the dog.
Can't make any promises. Not where the occult is concerned.
He sniffed.
Do you have my money?
She handed him an envelope containing 10 newly minted pound coins.
As you requested. I really hope you can help us. We're all out of options now, and we don't have the funds to pay for any sort of specialists. You're our only hope.
She started to explain about the failure of the family doctor and the local vicar to help, but Gervais silenced her with a chopping motion.
How did this all start? That's all I want to know.
I wish we knew.
Mrs. O'Neill sighed.
I just wish we knew.
A week earlier, after completing the first of her part-time jobs in town, Jenny was rushing for the bus when she bumped into a strange woman.
"Look where you're going, darling,"
the little woman snapped.
"What's the rush?"
Jenny threw her hands up.
I'm so sorry. I've got to get that bus, or I'll be late for work again.
She needed to keep the boss of her second job happy, as a promotion was on the cards, and she and her mum desperately needed the extra money.
"He won't promote you, darling,"
the old lady called after her.
"He has his eye on that David for the role."
Jenny came to a halt and turned around.
What did you say? How could you know that?
She noticed the dark-eyed woman was dressed in a very old-fashioned way and was wearing a strange symbol on her silver necklace. But she was smiling, her eyes wrinkled at the corners.
"You need a change in your life, darling. Here, take this."
She pressed a cool figurine into Jenny's hand.
I'm sorry, I don't have any money,
Jenny said quickly, aware of the sales techniques of some in the travelling community. Once they have the goods in your hand, they wanted paying.
"I don't want your money,"
the woman replied, offended.
"He likes you."
She indicated the figurine.
"He wants to be one with you."
Confused but too polite to argue, Jenny nodded back.
Thank you, but I really need to get this bus now.
She put one foot inside the vehicle to stop the driver from closing the doors on her. When she turned back again, the woman was gone, disappeared. On the back seat of the crowded bus, Jenny examined the strange figure that had been forced on her. It was about 4 inches high, a naked man with large feminine breasts, poking his tongue out. She turned it in her hand, wondering what on earth it could be made of. It wasn't plastic, wood, or stone. Perhaps it was valuable. She certainly hoped so. The figurine had a pointed tail, the barb of which pricked Jenny's slim finger, drawing blood. She gasped loudly, and a few other passengers turned to see what was wrong with her. She smiled at them reassuringly and sucked her finger.
I'm fine. Just an accident.
After they resumed their conversations or found something more interesting to do, she looked again at the figurine. Horrible little thing. She would throw it away at the first opportunity, get it out of her life. Of course, by then, it had already got its hooks into her.
"Girl is upstairs, I take it."
Gervais let Cerberus lead him up the stairs even before being invited. Mrs. O'Neill trailed on behind.
Yes, second door on the right. I must warn you, Mr. Gervais. She can be dangerous.
"No need to warn me about the dangers of the supernatural, my dear."
His hand started to move towards his face, towards his empty eye sockets, but he stopped himself. The last thing he wanted, or deserved, was pity. She understood his meaning, having heard the stories.
That door there. Good luck, Mr. Gervais. Can I get you a cup of tea?
He stopped at the threshold and produced a hip flask.
"Brought my own poison. Thank you."
He took a deep breath before following Cerberus into Jenny's room and quietly closing the door behind them. It was a normal teenager's bedroom, nothing immediately ominous, not that he could see any of it. He could sense that the curtains were drawn. Rooms often had a familiar cold, musty quality when not exposed to the light of day. There was a foul stench, not just the normal adolescent smells, but an evil quality which he had encountered before. Cerberus growled in the direction of the heavily breathing girl on the bed.
There, boy,"
Gervais comforted him.
"I don't know if you can hear me, girlie, but my dog won't harm you unless I tell him to. If you've got a demon inside you, it's me you need to worry about."
There was no response for at least a minute, and he began to feel his confidence subside. Then Jenny O'Neill, or the thing inside her, laughed at him, a low growl.
"Something amused you, girl?"
I see the barrel is being well and truly scraped.
She was surprisingly erudite.
First doctors, then holy men. Now, well, what are you exactly?
"Algernon Gervais, expert in matters of the occult."
Have you dealt with a case of demonic possession before, Mr. Gervais?
He stumbled closer to the bed, Cerberus staying close to the door, sensing danger.
Can't say I have. I do have experience of the demonic, however, as you can see.
You are blind.
10 out of 10 for observation.
You would love to touch this body, Gervais, if you could. It is young, fresh. Would you like to touch it?
Not today, thank you,
he answered, though his tongue was hanging out at the thought of it.
What is this you hold before me?
He took the lid off the hip flask.
Just a little holy water. Let's see how you like it.
He tipped half of the contents over the girl, and she reacted with mild shock, but not any sort of supernatural revulsion. A moment later she said,
You've made me wet, Mr. Gervais. Was that your intention?
He snorted, annoyed.
Just trying something out.
Is that all you've got for me, blind man?
No,
he answered quickly.
You're an idiot. Stupid fucking idiot.
Better than a liar, girlie.
What do you mean, blind man?
I submit to you that you're not possessed at all. Why are you doing this? For the attention? Perhaps you're just mental. You O'Neill family seem the type. Common and desperate.
You do not believe that a demon fights for control of this body?
You didn't react to the holy water, did you? I'm not afraid of you, like everyone else seems to be. Of course, if you really were a demon, you'd prove it.
How?
By doing something only a demon could do. You shouldn't need me to tell you that, my dear.
The girl roared and thrashed on the bed. He stepped back, sensing the horrible change which was rolling over her.
Is this
suitably demonic enough for you, blind man?
He tossed the rest of the holy water over the creature. This time it reacted like acid, and the demon inside Jenny screamed a different kind of scream. Real pain this time. Mrs. O'Neill knocked urgently on the bedroom door.
Is everything all right in there?
Jenny, and it was Jenny, replied.
Mum, I'm back.
Mrs. O'Neill barreled in, almost tripping over Cerberus. She paused before her daughter, suspicious. She certainly looked her old self, if a little tired.
Have you cured her, Mr. Gervais? Tell me you've done it.
I have done it,
he confirmed.
The demon inside her was giving control back to Jenny each time someone tried to exorcise her. Just long enough to escape the impact. There are rules, you see, even with demons. It's just a matter of evoking them and making sure they follow them. The holy water has scared it away. I'll work with you both to keep it away.
Mrs. O'Neill hugged Jenny, and when it was over, tried to hug Gervais. He pushed her away.
Let's talk about money, Mrs. O'Neill. The fee for my continued protection will be £5,000.
Mrs. O'Neill was flabbergasted.
Well, I couldn't possibly afford that, Mr. Gervais. I'm sorry, it's just me and our Jenny on our own since Alan died.
He rubbed the back of his neck.
Very well. I'll just return the beast to young Jenny, shall I? Is that what you want me to do?
Both were astounded.
No, please,
Jenny wailed.
Please, not that. You wouldn't,
Mrs. O'Neill offered.
I bloody would, you know.
The older woman looked at her daughter and shrugged, resignedly. It felt horribly like they may have switched from dealing with one kind of devil to another.
Well, perhaps we can arrange a repayment schedule?
I think we'd better. I'll return on Friday for the first instalment. If you haven't got the money, you'll have to offer something else instead. You or the girl? I don't mind which. Come along, Cerberus.
Gervais let himself out. Mother and daughter held on to each other tightly. A thoroughly reprehensible character, that supposed expert in the occult, Algernon Gervais, features in several tales associated with items in the Scarlet Vault, so I've no doubt we'll be hearing further from him, whether we'd like to or not. He was responsible for rounding up these figurines and dealing with the fallout from them, but only for his own grubby reasons. It was from his private collection that we acquired them for safekeeping. The elderly Mr. Gervais was reluctant to hand them over, as I recall, but I was able to convince him by threatening to boil him alive in an acid bath. I wonder where he is now, and how he was judged. See you again sometime? Enjoy your nightmares.